What is going on YouTube? It's your boy Sam from Team SamRX1 here. Today guys, I'm coming at you with the brand new Mermail Atlantean for the Master 05 2020 format. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. In today's video, I have a very special guest upload to showcase you guys this deck profile on the channel for you guys today. Today I invited Avarice YGO to hop on the channel to guest upload this awesome Mermail Atlantean deck in action for you guys, and also showcase you guys some cool combos at the end of the video on what you guys can do with this deck. Like I mentioned earlier in yesterday's video, I said a lot of people have a misconception with this deck. People think this deck is just a go second OTK. People think that this deck can't really do anything going first. You're wrong, alright? This deck is one of the most explosive decks going first in today's metagame, and this deck definitely needs more light, 100,000%. So that's what I'm going to do in today's video, to shed more light on this deck for you guys today. For those of you here on the channel for the very first time, smash the thumbs up button like always. Smash the thumbs up button like always. You know, that's better. Also at the same time, if you guys haven't subscribed to the channel yet, what are you guys waiting for? Click on the subscribe button to see more awesome Yu-Gi-Oh videos for the post-Master 05 format. Alright guys, I won't waste any more of your time. I'm going to pass it on right to Avarice YGO for this awesome Mermail Atlantean deck profile with some combos as well. Alright guys, without further ado, let's get started with this deck profile real quick.
I want to give a big thanks to Team Sam for letting me feature my Mermail video on his channel for Master 05. I'm Avarice YGO. I specialize in Mermail Atlantean content. I also feature various other water decks, but mostly Mermail Atlanteans, as you can tell by probably some of my knickknacks around here and there. So the coolest thing about Master 05 is that we finally got Deep Sea Diva to 3. So that means the deck got a lot more consistent, there's not a lot holding us back anymore, and a lot of the meta decks we have a good matchup against. And so the main reason why I'm posting is because, well, a lot of other big YouTubers and YouTubers have kind of been undermining the deck and not showing its true potential and how good it actually is and how exciting it can be to play. The build that I'm going to show you today is one that I've shared with Sam, and it's got some really pretty crazy hand loop combos and anti-Nibiru combos, so make sure you watch to the end of the video to see how it's done. Right before we get into the deck profile, I do want to let you know that this is a max rated Mermail deck. At least it's pretty darn close to. Deep Sea Diva is arguably one of the best normal summons in all of Yu-Gi-Oh! By just normal summoning her, you can special summon a level 3 or lower Sea Serpent from your deck. Our main target for this is Neptupus the Atlantean Prince, and he is the heart and soul of the deck. Diva is a tuner by herself, so even if your Diva does get hand trapped, if you have an additional extender, you can still make needle fiber and still end on some pretty cool things. The next card we have is Neptupus the Atlantean Prince. Like I said before, he is the heart and soul of the deck. What makes him so good is that you can send an Atlantean monster for cost to the graveyard to add an Atlantean card from your deck to your hand, meaning if this card does get hand trapped, you already sent Dragoons, likely for cost, so you can still get a Sea Serpent search at the end of it. From your 6 normal summons in the deck, we have the 3 Atlantean Dragoons. These are some pretty gorgeous ultimate rares. This card, if sent to the graveyard to activate a water monster's effect, you can search a Sea Serpent. The coolest thing about him is that he is triggered by all of your Mermail monsters, as well as some Exceed monsters. Over the years, this card has jumped around from the ban list from going to 1, then going to 2, then coming back up to 3. For the last Atlantean monsters we run in the deck, we run the 2 Atlantean Heavy Infantries and the 1 Marksman. These cards have 2 effects similar to Prince. Infantry, if it's on the field, you get an additional level 4 or lower Sea Serpent normal summon. With Atlantean Marksman, his additional effect, basically if you attack directly or deal damage to them, you can special summon a level 4 or lower Atlantean monster from your deck. This card can destroy face-up cards, and Marksman can destroy set cards. We play this card because a lot of back row decks, similar to Eldritch, are starting to come around, and so it's worth playing in the main deck. For the last main Sea Serpent cards, we have the Notorious Melanglacia, who's an essential part of all of your hand looping combos, and Lapis Dragon, whose main goal is to make level 8 synchro monsters, as well as summoning out Crystron Needle Fiber, because he is a tuner that special summons himself from the hand if you add it from your deck or graveyard to your hand. Moving on to Mermail Monsters, we have 3 Mermail Abyssteus. You shouldn't play any less than 3 of this card because you want this card to start your combos. The best cards to discard off of this are obviously your Atlantean Dragoons, but you're also able to discard any of your other Atlantean monsters as well as your Mermail monsters to just farm additional effects. Teus is one of your level 7 water monsters who can basically search any of your level 4 or lower Mermail monsters should you summon him correctly. And with Mermail Teus, we only play 2 copies of Megalo. You don't need three can clog because you must have 2 other water monsters in your hand to discard to summon him. The main goal of Megalo is to search your Abyss spell card, which acts as a spell negate during your turn. You can also stop Dark Ruler no more, as well as Super Poly, which is kind of unique to Mermails only. Mermail Abyss Megalo also has the second effect to tribute a face-up attack position water monster to get 2 attacks during the battle phase this turn. For the tiny Mermails, we play 1 Abyss Pike. Abyss Pike is really good for dodging Nibiru in one of your essential Mermail combos. He's also a level 4 monster, and he can add Abyss Gun or add Marksman or any other level 3 water you run in your deck to your hand. Additionally, we choose to run 2 Mermail Abyss Gun. The reason why is because she's such a good card turn 1 and turn 2 with this deck. Just by discarding it, you can revive any Mermail monster from your graveyard, including the Link monster. Lastly, we play the level 4 Abyss Mander. Abyss Mander doesn't really have any combo per se, but he's used to be able to go into True King of all calamities very easily with several different cards in your deck, which is just such a huge blowout card in today's meta, and it beats out Emancipators as well as other decks. The last water engine we choose to play in the deck are the Swap Frog engine. Swap Frog, while it does not trigger your Atlantean monster's effects, it actually has 2 incredible uses. He can be used independently as a combo extender to an additional negate in the form of Totally Awesome. Swap Frog can also be used to bait hand traps as well as play around Nibiru, because if you open this card in your opening hand, you are able to summon a Totally Awesome as your 3rd summon before you normal summon Diva and just pop off from there. And to do all this, we also play the 1 of Ronan Totem. You don't need 2, you don't need a Dupe Frog. This is all you need to play the deck. For our Needle Fiber targets, we play 2 cards, Fishborg Launcher and Jet Synchron. Because Glow Bulb was inevitably banned, Fishborg Launcher is the next best option to take its place. Fishborg Launcher is an exclusive water tuner card, which basically has no drawbacks because you can discard it off of Megalo, discard it off of Teus, as well as it being in your graveyard if all you control are water monsters in your graveyard and no other attribute monsters. You can special summon it back from the graveyard for free, but it does get banished during the end phase. You play no other waters in this deck except for Jet Synchron, and even then Jet Synchron banishes itself, so that you're basically able to just use Launcher to its fullest extent. Our choice of hand traps is 3 Gamma-Seal, the Sea Turtle Kaiju. This card is an excellent card moving forward because Dragoon of Red Eyes has a confirmed printing in the 2020 Megatons. And so while right now Gamma-Seal may not be the best card, it's pretty interchangeable with Infinite Impermanence, and Infinite Impermanence is not a monster, so it doesn't interfere with Fishborg Launcher's Grave effect. Moving on to spell cards, we play the 3 Call by the Grave. Call by the Grave is such a good card in Mermails because it just saves your Diva from getting hit by Ash Blossom or Effect Veiler. While it does not hit every single hand trap like Nibiru or Impermanence, we do have other ways to play around those cards. This card just acts as another defensive option in the case they have multiple hand traps. One of the coolest cards to really come off the ban list was Pot of Avarice. Avarice is a not once per turn effect that lets you target up to 5 monsters in your graveyard and return them to the deck to draw 2 cards. Like I said, it's not once per turn, and Mermails are just so infamously known for just sending so many monsters out of your deck and extra deck to the graveyard. You can just shuffle all your resources back and just continue extending. The cool thing about Avarice is that it also shuffles back your Atlantean monsters, making Neptibus live again. To accompany the rest of the draw engine, this is more of a personal choice. I play 1 Pot of Desires, and I also play 1 Moray of Greed. The reasoning behind these 1-ofs is because this is not a 40 card deck, we play multiples. We also run mostly water monsters in our deck, which means Moray of Greed can be used a lot. And with Avarice not being a once per turn, you're gonna constantly be going through your deck, and not running multiple Desires means you will never draw into Desires off of it, nor will it ever become a brick. The same thing can be said with Moray of Greed because of how many waters you have in your hand, and most of your combos are 2 card combos or 1 card combos, meaning you have tons of extra waters in your hand, and sometimes those waters can be cards you need in your deck to do your combo. That's where Moray of Greed comes into place to kind of help fix that. Another card I wish we had multiples of is 1 for 1. In the case your Deep Sea Diva does get stopped by a hand trap, 1 for 1 can basically discard a free monster because you run 30 monsters in your deck to summon Neptibus from your deck. And you can just pop off your combos from there, ship Diva on field, and now you have a Neptibus. And you never needed the extra cards in your hand in the first place. You can just resolve Neptibus, go into Needle Fiber, and just extend to your heart's content. We also play Monster Reborn. because it's such a good extender as well as a recovery option for the deck, being able to revive cards from your opponent's graveyard, such as a tuner hand trap, just to make go into needle fiber, as well as summoning other water monsters from your graveyard to just continue extending. The last two cards in the main deck is Twin Twisters and a Abyssgale the Mizuchi. The reasoning behind Twin Twisters is because in this deck there's no non-monster spell and trap removal, and just having that Fatal Fall in the deck means that matchups like Mystic Mine and other decks like Eldritch can become infinitely more difficult to play against. Having at least one card in your deck ensures that it's not a break, because it's also a card that can be used going first to add some level of disruption to field spells, continuous spells, and back row decks. Abyssgale the Mizuchi is part of your first turn combo, as well as being a pretty powerful equipped spell card that equips only to a Mermail monster, increases its attack by 800, as well as offering a spell negate that does not activate. 42 card main deck. Any less and you risk the chance of opening bricks. Any more, you risk the chance of not opening your important normal summons. Trishula has always been a fan favorite card, especially when playing Mermails, because hand loops has always been a part of it since like 2012. Starting with the synchros, we play Desert Locust as our needle fiber target to go into the opponent's turn to add an additional discard from their hand. To accompany it, we have Cyframe Lord Omega, who can be easily summoned using Abyss Megalo or Teus with a level 1 tuner. You're also able to summon it during the opponent's turn using Desert Locust with Swap Rock. Lastly, for the hand loop cards as well as spot removal, we have Trishula Dragon of the Ice Barrier, who's easily summonable by using a level 7 Mermail Monster, Duelist the Atlantean Prince, and a level 1 tuner. If you're not going to hand loop against certain decks, these are other really great synchro monsters to play. The new Adamancipator Risen Dragite. We don't care about its first effect, but its second effect to just negate a spell or trap card by having a water engrave is too good to pass up. Lastly, for the synchros, we choose to play Burrowload Savage Dragon because it's just another easy card to make. Our main target to equip for Savage is Crystron Halqifibrix, which we send to the graveyard when we go to summon Appaloosa, Bow of the Goddess. For the Xyz monsters, Totally Awesome with Bahamut Shark is such a great combo to play. We have 3 different ways to summon Totally Awesome in our deck. We could hard summon it using our Swap Frogs. We could also summon the Bahamut Shark and part of our anti-Nibiru combo using Abyss Pike and our Dragoons, as well as the ability to summon it using 2 level 1s by going into the new Link monster, Buju Key Hashima, which can summon a Dragoons or a Pike from your hand, as well as a Dragoons from the graveyard, to immediately Xyz summon Bahamut Shark and make Toad from there. For some great monster disruption, both Abyssgales and Calamities kind of accomplish the same thing, but Calamities is an overall better card because it affects all monsters in your opponent's possession. Using your hand looping cards like Mill Glacier to just establish knowledge about the opponent's deck, you can choose to summon Drukin Calamities or Abyssgales depending on your hand. Abyssgales can absolutely shut down decks if you know what deck they're playing, whereas Abyssgales is more easy to make, especially if you're locked into waters with Coral Anemone's effect. Despite being Master Rule 5, Mermail still needs a lot of Link monsters. They're not redundant, they're still really good cards. For the extenders, we play Marincess Coral Anemone because she's very generic to water monsters and she has a really powerful effect. You can target one water monster with 1500 less attack in your graveyard and special summon it to a zone she points to. By doing this, you are then locked into waters for the rest of this turn, but because we now have Adamantia Risen Dragite, we were able to end on more negates and more disruption, even being locked into waters. Coral is a very good combo standard for this deck, as well as good for recovery plays, and is quite essential for the anti-Nibiru combo. Of course, like most modern decks, we do play Crystron Halqifibrix. Halqifibrix is such an easy card to summon in this deck because Diva is a tuner, and if you don't open Diva, Neptibus can search Dragoons, which Dragoons can then search for Lapis Dragon, which is another tuner to summon off of it. Halqifibrix is also a water monster with 1500 less attack, meaning if you do link this off, if you didn't summon Anemone, Anemone can revive Halqifibrix to go into Desert Locust during the opponent's turn. Our last Link tech is Buju Key Hashima. A lot of people don't really like this card just because it's left on the field. There's not a whole lot of good ways to remove it from the field unless your opponent attacks over it or destroys it. But that'll all change once Eternity Code is released in North America and Europe. Unfortunately, it's delayed, which means you won't be getting the new Deep Sea support or Crocosaur in the coming 2 weeks. But that's not a problem. Hashima is still a really good card this format because it basically turns any 2 level 1s into a totally awesome Orbis Dweller should you play him. And it's a really good card to play if you only open Diva or Neptibus and nothing else, because this card still lets you do some crazy 1-card combos. The 3 boss monsters of the deck is Abyssalacia, Blacklister Soldier, Soldier of Chaos, and Appaloosa, Bow of the Goddess. Abyss Alicia is very underrated. Basically, what she does is she requires 2 fishes, sea serpents, or aqua-type monsters. Any monster she points to gains 500 attack and defense. During your opponent's turn, you can quick effect send a card from your hand to the graveyard to search for a Mermail monster. People argue that she's slow, but the coolest part about this card is that you can discard Atlantean heavy infantry to search for Mermail Abyssteus. Infantry, when discarded to activate or sent to the graveyard to activate a water monster's effect, can destroy a face-up card in the field. Abyss Alicia acts as a Zodiac Trident or a Raigeki Break, which is just another layer of disruption. Additionally, you can equip Abyss Gale the Mizuchi to her to add a spell negate, as well as increase her attack. Her second effect, which is actually one of the coolest effects she has, is that if this card is sent to the graveyard by an opponent's attack or card effect, you can send a water monster from your deck to the graveyard as cost to target a water monster in your graveyard and special summon in defense. Like a sea mine, you can send another infantry for cost to blow up another card in the field, then special summon any water monster from your graveyard. She's an incredible card to deal with, and if your opponent does make the mistake of getting rid of her, if they have nothing to stop her, it kind of sends them down a downwards spiral, because then you have Teus next turn to just complete OTK the opponent. Soldier of Chaos is notoriously known for being hard to out for certain decks, and it's also an incredibly easy card to make in the Mermail deck. Appaloosa, Bow of the Goddess, is an incredible link for a monster that's incredibly generic and adds a ton of monster negation on the board. She's incredibly easy to incorporate into the Mermail strategies and combos because just Diva can make her, just any Neptibus plus Water can make her, as well as many other combos, which I'm going to show you right now. What I'm about to show you is the anti-Nibiru Mermail combo. This is a very important combo if you want to play Mermails competitively, because decks like Adamancipators and Salamangreats are running Nibiru in their main deck, and being able to do this combo game 1 can basically make your opponent's hand trap useless. To start off the combo, we're going to discard Dragoons to special summon Teus in defense position. Teus is going to search Pike, and Dragoons is going to search Neptibus. We are not going to normal summon the Prince. We are instead going to normal summon the Abyss Pike. Use Abyss Pike's effect to discard Prince to search for Abyss Gun. Once the channeling's resolved, Prince will then target the Dragoons in the graveyard to special summon it. As your 4th summon, we are going to exceed summon the Bahamut Shark, and as our 5th summon, detach the Dragoons to special summon Totally Awesome from extra deck. Now, Totally Awesome is our 5th summon, meaning that our opponent tries to Nibiru now. You can negate it with Toad and revive a water from your grave. This card does not mess up your water count because as 1 water goes to the grave, 1 water comes back to your hand, meaning this will not mess up your Melanglacia effect. Because we detach Dragoons from our Bahamut Shark, we can search for a Sea Serpent. We're going to go ahead and search Melanglacia here because we can summon this first without using Abyss Megalo. We are going to link off Teus plus Bahamut Shark to summon Coral Anemone. Before we activate Anemone's effect, we have 5 waters in grave. We can special summon Melanglacia, the Elemental Lord, from our hand and take 2 cards from their hand. Now we will use Anemone's effect. Special summon Prince from the graveyard. Prince will send Dragoons to add Dragoons. Dragoons will add Megalo. We can use Abyss Megalo's effect, discarding the Dragoons in the gun. Megalo will add the Abyss spell. Gun will special Teus. And Dragoons will search for infantry. Because we summoned Coral Anemone this turn, we are unable to go into non-water monsters. So we're going to do a little bit of an alternative route. We will exceed summon using both Megalo and Teus. Mermail Abyssteus. This card acts as a skill drain on the field and prevents level 5 or higher monsters from attacking. Now we have the option to link off Melanglacia with Neptibus. You don't have to. Any other water extender can take the place of Melanglacia. To link summon Abyss Alicia underneath Anemone. We will equip Abyss Skill of the Mizuchi to Abyss Alicia, and we will end on infantry in hand. So in total, 2 cards discarded from the opponent's hand, a Totally Awesome negate, Abyss Gaia's Skill Drain negate, a spell negate using Mizuchi with Abyss Alicia, as well as a Raigeki Break effect to destroy a face-up card the opponent controls to search Mermail Abyssteus. Other combo will be a 1-card combo without any other extenders. For this combo, we only use 1 copy of Deep Sea Diva. We have no other cards in hand and it can still work. So this is for those hands where you kind of brick or you don't have anything else to do. We're going to normal spin Diva. Diva is going to special summon Prince. Prince's effect will send Dragoons to add Dragoons. Dragoons' effect will add Lapis Dragon. Lapis Dragon, when added from deck to hand, will special summon himself. We will link off both tuners, Diva plus Lapis, to link summon Crystron Halka Fibrix. Halka Fibrix will special summon a level 1 tuner from our deck. We will special summon Fishborg Launcher since it doesn't have any restrictions to revive itself except for having just waters engraved. From here we have 2 level 1s. We can go and link summon Buju Key Hashima. Buju Key Hashima will immediately special summon 2 monsters with an identical level, 1 from your hand and 1 from your grave. We will target both Dragoons here. And immediately exceed summon Bahamut Shark. Bahamut Shark's effect will detach Dragoons to special summon Totally Awesome from your deck. Dragoons, because it was detached from material, will add a Sea Serpent. We'll add Glacia here. If we take a look at our grave, we should have 5 waters engraved, so we can go ahead and drop the Glacia wherever. We can take 2 cards from their hand. Because we have only waters engraved, we can use Launcher's effect to special summon himself in attack or defense. From here, we will link off both Launcher, Halka Fibrix, and Bahamut Shark. Remember, Launcher gets banished. To link summon a Link 4 monster. And here we will link summon Appaloosa, the Bow of the Goddess. She will have 3 materials and she will rest at 2,400 attack. So from just 1 card, Diva, you have a Totally Awesome that acts as a negate as well as a resource gatherer, which can add back Diva if it's into the graveyard. We have 2 cards discarded off of the Glacia, as well as 3 monster negates off of Appaloosa. If you have a Call by the Grave, or Gamma Steel, or Infinite Permanence, or any other sort of disruptions, you can go ahead and just set them. And just from 1 card, you're able to have this sort of thing. Now, the cool thing about Buju Key Hashima is that this isn't the only use of this card. In your other core combos, you can incorporate this card to end on an additional Totally Awesome. I didn't have enough time to show the 5-card hand loop and the 1-card hand loop on Team Sam's video, so make sure to check out my channel, YGO, to get the entire look on everything that Mermail can do in all of its glory.
Ultimate Conductor Tyranno, go!